Whether it's walking across the stage for a high school, college, or even pre-K graduation, celebrations will soon kick off across the country. For Native students, graduation season is increasingly turning into a fashion show of sorts, with many using the moment to showcase their cultural identity by dressing traditionally, some wearing beaded graduation caps or eagle feathers. This season should be an exciting time for all involved, but that isn't always the case. The Native American Rights Fund says in recent years they've heard more and more stories where Native students were questioned for wearing regalia. Last year in Mississippi, Cheyenne River Sioux citizen Zuri Wilson wanted to wear an eagle feather on her high school graduation cap, but was told she couldn't because it was outside of her district's dress code. After an in-person visit to the school board and letters of support from prominent legal organizations, she won her fight, finally able to wear her cultural items proudly.
I think if anything in the school realm right now can feel contentious.
I spoke to NARF staff attorney Morgan Saunders to ask how to make graduation day run smooth. First, she says, is to decide exactly what you are interested in wearing. Then look into graduation-specific policies at your school. If you have any questions about it, reach out to a guidance counselor or advisor.
The earlier that you can get a clear answer on what is or isn't allowed at your school, the earlier you can take steps to address any concerns that you have and potentially, try to get an exception if an exception is needed.
Tribal leaders can play a role too by issuing public statements explaining the significance of their students dressing in regalia or by visiting a local school board meeting.
Also providing, any relevant information, especially, if there is a state law on point, if the tribe, perhaps is giving out tribal honor cords or stoles or, gifting eagle feathers to students.
If you live in these 14 states, there are state laws already on the books protecting Native students from wearing regalia in some way. One of the states not on the list, New York, home to many tribal nations. College senior Yananui Logan says it won't stop her from representing her background when she graduates from Cornell University this spring. If anything, she tells me, she was more concerned about another important detail.
I actually inquired about my graduation regalia last June because I know a lot of designers, like either their orders fill up or they can't handle a lot. So I had asked a long time ago.
Logan mentioned, however, that things may be different for the class of 2024, a cohort that has already gotten the short end of the stick because their 2020 graduations were either outright canceled or moved virtually due to COVID.
We're really humble people, but we take our celebrations with a lot of pride, I find. And I think that you want to be proud, not just of what you accomplished in these academic spaces, but also what you accomplished as a Native person. And I think you can only really show that with a lot of times with your traditional regalia or your traditional wear.